In the last video, we left off talking about opportunity cost as a way of measuring the cost of our choices. In this video, we're going to develop a more systematic way of thinking about opportunity costs. So you'll remember last time we offered this choice. You can either pick option A or option B, but you can't have both. And we realized if you chose option A, that meant you couldn't choose option B. And what this means is the value of the next best alternative, choosing A, is the value that you get from choosing, that you would have gotten from picking B. You give up B, the value to you is the opportunity cost of choosing A. And if we were to flip these, the same would be true. So if you picked B, the opportunity cost would be A. All right, so we're going to develop a more systematic way of thinking about opportunity cost. So imagine here we have Molly's farm. Molly's a small-scale organic farmer who grows two types of crops. We have spinach and we have carrots. This rectangle, and we're going to use this rectangle as a way of showing her crop decisions. This rectangle is representing her growing entirely spinach. If she grows only spinach, she can grow 45 units of spinach. And if she grows only carrots, she can grow 5 units of carrots. So we say either she grows 5 units of carrots or she grows 45 units of spinach. And this should look familiar to what we were just doing with opportunity cost. So one way of representing this or relationship is to set these two equal to each other. Either we can have 5 carrots on the one side, or we can have 45 units of spinach on the other. To find the opportunity cost of 1 unit of carrots, all we have to do is simplify this math, remembering our units. So we divide both sides by 5, and that leaves us with 1 unit of carrots is equal to 9 units of spinach. And this is how we characterize opportunity cost. We say the opportunity cost of a unit of carrots is 9 units of spinach. And the intuition here is that Molly has a limited amount of space on her farm. So if she grows any amount of carrots, she's sort of crowding out her ability to grow spinach. So in this sense, she's giving up some crop when she makes the decision to grow more carrots. She's giving up some spinach. So this is how we think about opportunity cost. And this is how opportunity cost relates to sort of a very basic set of decisions around, growing crops on a farm. Okay, so one way of representing Molly's farm and this fundamental trade-off is with a graph. So we have X and Y, and I wouldn't recommend, like I've done here, leaving off the units, but I don't have units listed. It's a rookie mistake. So we have a point here that represents how many units of carrots on the vertical axis and how many units of spinach on the horizontal axis. Because she's spending all of her time and land growing carrots, she grows 5 units. And because she's spending none of her time or space growing spinach, she's growing 0 units of spinach. But let's say she decides to grow all spinach. So we can plot this point too. So we plant spinach on her farm, and we found that she can grow 45 units of spinach, but that means she can't grow any carrots. So we have 0 and we have 45. Okay, but she doesn't have to pick just the two extreme points, she could split her land equally between growing carrots and growing spinach. And that would put us at this point. So, she grows half of her farm with carrots. So it's 5 divided by 2. So it's 2.5. And the same here. So 22.5 is half of 45. And it turns out, we could grow any combination of carrots and spinach, at least pretty large range of combinations here. So we can, visualize the split sort of like this. Okay, and if we wanted to plot all the points out, we could do something like this, where we draw a line. And this tells us every possible combination of carrots and spinach that Molly can grow. But it's important to remember here, this is all of the possible combinations of her fully using her land. She doesn't have to plant on every acre of her land. But what we've shown here is a line that represents every possible combination of carrots and spinach using the full space and time she has. This is what we call the production possibility frontier. And we're going to use this production possibility frontier, often called a PPF. We're going to use this pretty extensively. All right, so instead of plotting particular points on the PPF, splitting her land between carrots and spinach, we're just going to color it blue and say this is all possible combinations. All right, so we have the PPF, and we can show how this represents a full range of crop decisions. We call every point that's on or below the PPF, we call these her attainable points. These are the points that she can produce given her labor and technology. But there are other points as well. And these points represent how much she can produce at a given level of technology and labor. But as I've shown here, if she cuts back her hours, this can actually impact her production, her PPF. So if she cuts back her hours, this shrinks the amount of space on her farm that she can effectively grow. So we've shrunk the amount of effective space she has, and that's shifted in the PPF on both the vertical axis and the horizontal axis. This means she can't produce as much as she could before. So we're going to think about what this means for her attainable points. Just to sort of visualize her crop decisions as a point on her PPF, we can just move this around. But let's think about some regions. As we've already shown, everything on or inside the PPF is what we call attainable. But we also have this pink region, and this is what we call, sort of loosely, these are no longer attainable. These are all the points that used to be attainable given her earlier level of technology and labor. But because we've cut back our hours, for whatever reason, we no longer have the ability to produce these given our new level of labor. And this is fine. It's let's say Molly is deciding to spend more time with her family. That's a really good use of your time. It just means that we have fewer points that are available to us. Okay, let's do another one of these examples. So let's imagine that a new carrot harvesting technology comes on the scene, and it makes Molly twice as effective per acre at growing carrots. So first off, what this does is tells us if she grows only carrots, she can now make twice as much as she could. Where before she could make 4 with her cutback in hours, she can now make 8. So that's on the vertical axis. On the horizontal axis, if she only grows spinach, does an improvement in the ability to grow carrots have any impact on her productive capacity? The answer is no, because she's not using any technology to grow carrots. She's not growing any carrots at all. So an improvement in that technology has no impact on her if she's only growing spinach. So we see no change at this extreme point, but we've seen a double on the vertical. Okay, so we get this pivot, as we call it, this pivot in the production possibility frontier with a change in technology growing only carrots. Okay, so let's walk through some little examples and sort of identify which of these what each of these regions represents. All right, so everything under the production possibility frontier is what we call attainable. These are all the attainable points. This purple region here, we can think through what this means. The area under the original PPF that's not under our current PPF, this is what we before called no longer attainable. All right, so let's do a couple more. What about this region? Think about what this region might represent. These are points that were not available before the new technology, the new carrot harvesting technology, but they are available now after the new technology. So this is what we'll call newly attainable. This new technology has given us the ability to produce here. Let's do one more. So we'll think about what this green region represents. So these were the points that were attainable originally. They were under our original PPF. But as we cut back hours, we shifted in to this point. So we lost everything in this green when we cut back our hours. But when we improved our technology, growing carrots, we then gained them back. So we could call these, and I don't have this on the screen, but we could call these our reattainable points, or points that have become attainable again. Okay, so this is our model of the production possibility frontier. In the next video, we will use this to talk about some applications that really set up the rest of this class. We're going to talk about the seed that plants the forest of economics. I'll see you there.